Hi, this is Eva Dietz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm going to show you how to make the bonus card that I offered in my Christmas in July class online. And this is just a sample. I'll be showing you a couple others here in just a second. We've got some pretty red ones that I used some fun patterns for, and some stamped tags and some memories and more tags from a few years ago. But today we're going to start with white card bases that I'm going to fold. And this time I decided to change it up. I'm going to do a horizontal card instead of a vertical card, just to be different. I always like to try different things. And I'm using the normal basic white for my card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So I've got the card bases here. I've already pre-cut some stuff from my stash. I've got 2 pieces of Evening Evergreen, 2 pieces of Early Espresso. I've got some paper from, the name of the designer series paper was called Painted Christmas. And then I've used some Evening Evergreen ribbon and some basic white ribbon. I've already pre-cut 4 round tags using the shape dies from a long time ago. And I'll be stamping with Cherry Cobbler ink and Evening Evergreen ink. So let's get started. The very first thing we have to do is stack all 4 sheets of designer series paper, which were cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Stack them as neatly as you can. And the 3 cuts actually to make 4 pieces is going to be very random. I'm just going to carefully stack them in my paper trimmer, pull down really hard. There's 1 piece. Cut another piece here. And then split the last piece in 2 pieces. So what we have is the 4 pieces that we're going to stack like a crazy quilt in sewing. So basically I'm going to take the first piece, I'm going to put the next piece down at the bottom. I'm going to put 2 pieces down on this 3rd pile, and then I'm going to bring the 4th one up to the top. So this one will go here, this one will go here, and this one will go here. Now, to save time, I'm going to Scotch tape these on the back and assemble all 4 pieces, but that's what it's going to look like. When you're assembling these on the back side, you want to make sure each seam is flat. You don't need to use a lot of Scotch tape because you'll use other adhesive when you put it down. But that's what it's going to look like on the front side. I'm going to continue assembling the rest. I highly recommend that you use your grid paper to line up these pieces. It'll help you keep them square and straight. Now I'm ready to add them to my 4 inches by 5 1/4 cardstock and the Evening Evergreen and Early Espresso. And if you miss a spot, it'll be fine to trim off a little, because sometimes things do shift when you're cutting them ever so slightly. So there, trimmed off a smidge. Now this should fit better and look better. Try real hard for my 1/8 inch margins, which I always struggle with when I'm on video. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, since we're going to have these horizontal, I'm going to have this triangle be down in the corner. I think that's going to look good because then my circles will hide things pretty well, hide the intersections. So that's why I'm choosing that. Now my ribbon's going to go on, and I'm going to put it right through the intersection there. Don't forget to use your grid paper to get your ribbon on nice and level. Sometimes I like to run a little snail, but with see-through ribbon, nah, it's not so great. Okay, that's pretty level. And some people like to put snail down or tear and tape down. I just always have used Scotch tape. Okay, so that's going to go good. Now it can go right on the card front here before we add the tag. So go ahead and do that real quick. Actually, I'm going to move over to my Stampin' Seal. I like how it works better. Then I'll be back with you in just a moment after I get the other 3 put together, and we'll stamp the tags that we've chosen. Alrighty, so I've got the 4 crazy cards attached to their layer, cardstock layer, and the basic white base that was 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And now we're going to stamp the tags. I like round tags, so we're going to go with those. And I'm using a set from my stash that fits in this really nicely, this Warm Christmas Wishes. So I'm going to stamp 2 in Early Evergreen and 2 in Cherry Cobbler. And then we'll raise them up on dimensionals and add them to the card. I like to hold my stamp down for about 3 seconds, make sure it's really absorbing the ink, then lift it up. Pretty good. I think that ink pad could have used a fresh ink job, but I'll tap it a few more times. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Pretty much. Okay. I could use it re-inking, but oh well. Didn't check it before I started this video. Now, something I also do, which I know people think I'm probably crazy on, but I put half of my Stampin' Chamois in a baggie, and then I have a bottle of water here, a little squirt bottle that I squirt in there to keep it moist, and it sure is faster for me anyway than having to open and close a stamp case if you've put yours in there. And it's just handier to reach for me on my messy stamping desk. Okay. Got to get that a little higher. I guess I'll put some bling at the top of that other Cherry Cobbler one. Or maybe both of those. Okay, now I notice on this bottom tag, I got a little spot that didn't ink. And I love to use my Stampin' Right markers to fill in those spots with the fine tip. Right like that. I just do a little dot, dot, dot. And it fixes it real quick. Makes it look good as new. Okay, so now let's pop some dimensionals on these. I'm using the large dimensionals, and I only use 3 usually. A triad, triangles, shape's pretty good. And then we'll pop them on the cards, and we'll be done. You're welcome to add embellishments. I'm going to keep mine fairly flat because of the, you don't want a card thicker than 1/4 inch, or you can't mail it without being the price of a package. And I learned that the hard way a few years back. So I'm very sensitive now to make sure my cards do not have double layers of dimensionals on them. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that kind of right there. Hides all of our seam intersections. That's something I really love about that. Okay, here's the next one. That's looking pretty good. I thought the Cherry Cobbler ink would look nice on those. Then we'll follow up with the Evening Evergreen ink here. Okay, and one more. Okay, now I do have paper for the envelope flaps because I always like having matching cards, but I'm not going to take your time to have those put together. But I did have a matching envelope. You probably noticed on my first sample here. It really makes things look cute. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.